Hey folks, me again, back at it. So today I wanted to discuss something weird that happened at work recently. Um, I am a firm believer in good always conquers. That doesn't change the fact that everybody's version of good might be different. For me, I think I brought up in my introduction, I am a little bit like career obsessed. So when I dedicate myself to something as a Cancer, I'm very passionate. As me, I'm very passionate. And when I'm dedicated to a company, they get more than 100% of me. They get what everybody gets to me, like 150 to 175. Well, my daughter gets like 200%. So, when you put in that max effort, let's Deadpool it, right? So maximum effort in your home life, you're making sure your chores get done, you're making sure your plants get watered, you're making sure your relationships at home are at an equal or a healthy balance. And then when it comes to your kid, you want to make sure you're doing all of that, but then you want to make sure you're giving in double that, right? Because they deserve nothing but that, nothing less. When I'm in a company, they get that minus because nobody gets what yourself or what your child should be getting, right? So I'll say that I fell in love with the company that I'm in almost 2 years ago now, and it kind of sucked more than 150, 175 out of me. It got me to where I was there from opening till close, and then after sometimes I would stay and I'd paint my building, or I'd paint my we'll say the type of shelving that we use. I'm not going to go into detail, say what company I work for, or any names. So when I'm describing a situation, I like to keep the drama out of it and just kind of be more factual, right? So when I dedicated myself to this company, I said, okay, we're starting from the ground up. We don't have any shelves. We don't have policies in place. We don't have SOP in place. We don't have a proper scheduling system for employees. We didn't have anything, right? And I thought this was great because I know I have such a great background in building companies, right? Starting them from the bottom and working their way up, even if they're just a big company that's opening a couple of new locations. I got to be a part of project managing, and that's something I really enjoy. I love seeing numbers start from 0 and blast beyond 100, right? Or create their new 100. With the company that I am in, I did that. It was about 2 months fresh when I walked into the company, and they had nothing in place. I actually signed up to be a supervisor, and one of the responsibilities was to just make sure the employee shelf was taken care of. Simple, small, like cleaned. Within a week of training and getting an understanding, and when I say training, I mean like I cashed out customers, I replenished the store, and it was so undermanaged that if you walked by the shelving that we utilized, your clothing would get ripped because there were nails sticking out in all kinds of directions. It was beyond OSHA violation, right? And one thing I knew was OSHA could walk in at any time of the day. Somebody could come in and shut this company down like that. A customer could get hurt. There was no airflow in the building. There's just so many hazards that I saw this huge challenge for myself. And I dedicated myself fully, wholeheartedly. I said, okay, you don't have a schedule system. I'm going to create that. Okay, you don't have an attendance policy in place. I'm going to create that. From safety policies, and I dug into OSHA. I mimicked quite a bit of their policy standards to what I created in this company. I created roles and routines. I mean, it hasn't even been a full 2 years, and within the first year of the new location we had opened, we had made such a great amount of money that the owner came to me and said, I need you to start creating goals. I want to see this amount of money for the year, and I want you to create a daily, weekly, yearly goal. And I said, no problem. And the number was so easy to meet because I had just met it in the past year. Let's do it again, right? So I created a fiscal year calendar and goals. That pushed us to where we could open another location, at which I took on the project managing. I pulled in all of the employees, I trained all of the employees, and then pulled in the new manager. That I didn't hire the new manager, but I did pull him in for, I only got 16 hours to train this individual to go into their other store and do what I do. On a smaller scale, of course, because all of the big stuff had already been created. Things fell apart in that area, and I was able to go into the other location, and I held down 2 locations. I was very dedicated. Well, then it came to a third location being opened, and I was pulled from that location. Another individual was hired on to, what I was informed, take over some of the responsibilities to lighten my load. Well, when this new individual came in, I was pulled out of the second store, and more than just a load was taken from me in my current store, that it was to the point where they decided, they as in the higher up of me, which had only been one person at this time, they brought in this other individual who wasn't above me, was supposed to be taking on some roles to lighten my load, actually extracted all of the policies that I wrote, everything that I had in place. And that individual decided they were going to go to all of the new hires, because they pushed a lot of my people out of the company, and inform the new hires that they created this whole company. They did this, they did that, drama. And I thought, wow, this is like kind of an evil thing to do to somebody after they gave you their all. I mean, let's go back to January. In January, I had still been holding up just the one store, but planning for the next store. And I lost my mother, unfortunately, which caused me to be out for about a week. That it changed the way I was treated in the company. The person who worked side by side with me on such a great level that they were even trying to help me understand and get back into my Jewish religion, actually stopped being so close with me, started distancing themselves, stopped communicating almost completely. And I have to say, like you can see it just the way that I'm reacting right now. What happened in January, it's very hard for me to even say it, but like when that happened with my mother, I changed. I went onto autopilot. So that absolutely made sense that things were a little bit different. I think that's expected. And I think, your company should have a slight understanding, especially when, they informed you to take 30 days to recover, and then we're calling you and rushing you back within the same week. And you did it, right? You did it. You went straight back and went back into autopilot. You just made sure you did your job, right? Unappreciated, distanced, lost. But I did explain, hey, I wasn't in the right spot for my head to be at work as much as I am. And you don't offer like medical insurance. And I really need to see a therapist in order to better myself, because I didn't get to go through grieving and I had to go straight to work. She needed me, and I understood that. And I was promised health insurance for like 3 months. it never showed up. I actually felt like I was harassing. Hey, can you help me? Or are you going to find any answers? Have you found any answers? All the way until I was like crying at work because I was starting to lose me. And that's when I got the answer of, oh, you know what? We discussed it and we just can't do that. And it made me have a better understanding of the person I was working with and how much I was not important. After everything I gave, I wasn't getting that in return. Yes, they pay me. No, we didn't discuss this is what was going on, but nonetheless, I put 100 plus in, and I didn't feel I was getting half of that in return. I mean, they did send me on a vacation as a thank you for a lot of stuff, and I had excellent treatment when I first started in the company. Excellent. Great communication across the board from folks who work together to create the idea of the company. But over time, over the past 6 months, I have definitely felt a disconnect at where I no longer was working with the same people, I felt like. And I started to feel like, you know, I had to remind people to do their jobs above me. And it was so consistent that it became that natural responsibility for me. Like, okay, in order for the company to function properly, in order for things to get done, I had to remind folks these things needed to get done. And I wasn't mad about it. Sometimes I would get overwhelmed because, of course, you're saying, hey, I need this done. A week later, it's not there. Hey, I need this done. A week later, hey, I need this done. And then you'd get you need to calm down. And then they would get it in late. And then they'd question you why things were happening late. And that's, oh my gosh, that's like a stress all in itself, right? So how do you correct that? You can't. How do you make things better? I mean, you communicate, right? What do you do when you communicate to that individual or those individuals and the communication isn't reciprocated? You inform them that you need to have a meeting based on communication because it lacks. And in order to be successful as a company or as a manager, you need communication, right? The communication occurred, but blame was thrown in my direction, as if I wasn't giving as much as I gave. And that hurt. That broke my heart, especially because I dedicated so much, including like my grievance time, to this company. Hell, last year, my daughter, she worked for the company just so she could be by my side. I loved it. I loved having her there. But the knowledge of knowing that I was that dedicated to that company told me, I'm going to lose my daughter for this, and I need to step back a little bit. And so I did. I only was giving 100%. And I literally got pulled into a meeting and informed that I'm not doing enough. And they need change. And they want better. Meanwhile, I'm not allowed to have an assistant manager. Nobody could have that title because they didn't want anybody managing the store but me. But that leaves me from open to close. And I was losing it. So I informed them, like, I need somebody to close the store so that I can have a life also, because this was not what was promised upon hire, right? I got a supervisor, which was nice. And there was some kind of balance coming into play. Whatever happened, I had discussed, opened other stores, blah, blah. And then they brought this other person in recently to lighten the load. The load didn't get lightened from me. A lot of stuff was taken from me, credentials of things that I developed, I created with this team above me and at my level and below me. It was just taken right from me. Okay, you can no longer hire and fire. You no longer have access to PTO adjustments, but the hiring and firing was being based on an individual who was using the interviewees to basically get counseling, to seek counseling. This individual would pull somebody in for an interview and tell them about their entire lives. And sometimes the stories that would come were so dramatic that the employees would get hired on and come to me, and they would come to me with like complaints about their interview, that they felt like they weren't comfortable. That is so unprofessional. Let's start there. But mind-blowing. Why would you bring that to the workplace? But why would you base somebody's interview on that, right? You don't get to figure out who's going to work for you. Their personality, their work ethic, any of their background. And now that you've had an entire disclosure of, this is how bad my health is, they're going to come in with the mind frame that it's okay to constantly complain, to utilize their health as leverage to get them from having to work. And then not only did you wipe all of the policies that were in play, but you're informing these people that they don't have an attendance policy to follow. They just have to show up. So now we've got people showing up left and right, not knowing what's going on, with the understanding that it's okay to just work whenever, however you want. But not just that, when the employees ask, the people who are being hired ask questions about the store and how to do their job, the response these people got was, oh, you need to go and handle that down there. That's for the little people. What did you just say? Yeah. This individual was taking everything that I did, everything I put in, and saying they created that they are the founder. I would never go so far as saying I'm a founder of anything. I will go in that area because I did not find that company. I never founded it. The owners do. But I will go so far as saying, like, I wrote policies. I implemented policies. I stood by them. I've raised teams. And not only that, like, one of the employees that began here with me, amazing, stood by my side and listened to every step that I trained him, and literally just left the company because of that drama for another company and got a store manager position, and came and thanked me for everything I taught them. And their shelves, oh, they're amazing. Their merchandising techniques have blown me out of the water. I'm so proud. Excuse me, but for them to tell me that they couldn't have done it without me, it touches my heart. But also I know they could have, because we are capable of anything we put our minds to, right? So I'm very proud of you, Hassan. Very, very proud of you. I will say that name only because we still socialize outside now. Knowing that he's not in the company, we can have that communication, and I can say it out loud. He's doing wonderful. Very proud of him. But this individual continued to do such bad that there were statements written on this individual. This individual decided to do illegal actions and dig through areas they're not allowed to dig through, find statements they were not allowed to find, pull the employees that wrote the statements. This is so against HR, employee confidentiality. It's that they rubbed the statement in the employee's face and asked the employee what they had to say about it. You heard me! You heard me. I'm like, I was sitting here describing this, and it's like I'm hearing it for the first time all over again. I got a phone call on my day off, mind you, which is not a shocker, but I got a phone call on my day off, and it was like, oh, my back, sorry. Ugh. In this phone call was asked, can you please come to the store? And I'm like, what do you need me to come to the store for? Is everything okay? I just got pulled into an office and I don't think this conversation should have happened. Can you please come to the store? Absolutely. I get to the store. I am hearing all this crazy nonsensical BS-ery. And I'm like, shut the front door. Are you serious? That really that's not legal. You can't do that. But sure as shit, this bitch did it. She did it all the way. I confronted who I needed to confront about it, requested something was done about it. And I mean, I've never been that person that's like, this is good and this is evil and good battles evil and good always wins. I'm not. I know that the intent is for lightness to like conquer darkness, right? It's always better to be good. Always make the good decisions. Always do right. Do the right thing, right? But never have I ever been the person to say goodness always conquers bad, or good always conquers bad, or good over evil, or whatever. But for the last 2 out of 3 months that individual was in the company, I have been requesting for somebody to stop the madness that this individual has brought into the company that I helped create such beauty in, that is now, in my opinion, in shambles. And that's saying a lot, because I run a business that has, you would call it, what is the word? Something chaos. Sorry. My brain's just like everywhere with this situation, but it's just organized chaos, right? We dump our stuff. It's a madhouse. Customers come in, they're ripping it out of your hands as you're pouring it in. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been to Las Vegas, but in the Broad Acres swap meet, imagine that being dumped into like boxes, bins, whatever, and customers being able to rip out, I don't know, $500 items and paying $14 for it, like ripping the shit out of your hands. And you just got to deal with it. And then they rip the boxes open and they demolish the product. They destroy product. It blows my mind. But it's organized, because my job is to ensure that everything gets lined up so perfect and is just taken care of, okay? I am adjusted to chaos. I am. This individual has created, my mouth is numb right now from the anxiety of thinking about what the fuck I did and they did. And in my mind, I'm like, that was good. I put so much good into this. And this person, to the point where people have come in and said, oh, it feels so negative. Like, what's the energy in here? Since that person walked in, you could feel it. It was darkness. It was suffocating. It was sickness. I couldn't even believe it. But this person, they would like befriend me. They would look in my face and they'd say, I'm going to help you because I have the opportunity to fix this, and this to help you. And I'm going, oh God, like, to not have to be here as much as I am, to be able to have a life and be with my daughter and spend more time with my fiance and yes, please help me. So they're like helping me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm okay with this. It's okay. All the way into this. At this point, I'm like, karate chop, blocking, blah, blah. I'm over it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm standing my ground. We're correcting this. Nobody heard me. Nobody heard me. I've even had like conversations and meetings. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me? Yes, I hear you. Nothing was done. The darkness was starting to win. I almost quit my job. And when I say career obsessed, I mean, I'm sleeping, I'm having a weird dream about the company. This is so strange. And then I wake up and I look over at my fiance and I'm mumbling words about work. Career obsessed, not healthy. I get that. That is something I'm working on, and you are going to be on this journey with me. Some things came into play. I'm not going to say whether I was involved or not, but some things came into play. And my battle came to a halt. And somebody saw and heard me when I said, please, please, Creator, help me figure out how to prevent this amazing company from going down the drain due to darkness penetrating its walls. A light shined through. And it shined through so hard that it brightened the darkness that developed in this little corner, in this little cubby. And it was starting to eat the walls. That light came in, and it shined so hard it punctured a hole and blew that darkness right out. I would never say that in this situation that darkness became light, that the light brightened it up. No. I want to say all the way until the very, very end that darkness was still trying. And good one. It's a good one. So I'd like to say, if you've ever experienced something like this in your workplace, if you have ever given your all and felt that it was not coming back and you walked out, it may have been a mistake. If you were really pushing for good, but you were still unsure and you walked out, it may have been a mistake. That does not change the learning experience in it. I think every single experience we have is a learning experience. And today, the good one. I think patience is key. What do you think? I want your opinion on this situation. I want questions. I want concerns. Do you think like maybe I'm in danger still? Like my job might be on the line because of this. Do you think, tell me about your situation. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me, quit your job and go somewhere else. I don't care. Tell me anything. Communicate with me about this. I need to know how this made you feel. Because my heart was broken, in shambles. And today I feel like even if in the end I don't walk out in the same place that I am right now, I know that everything I witnessed and was involved in, it all was for a good cause, and that good can conquer evil. The light is brighter than the dark, and it will always shine. Have a good day. I wish you the best of luck in your company and your endeavors. Every single thing that you do it with good intent, because it will actually matter in the end.